Hello, I think we're rolling now. This is Frater Ralph with Temple of the Infinite Universe, and I'd like to share a little something that we've done around the house here. The other day I was reading about population, and what I was reading, the statistics, really shocked me because, quite frankly, I thought they were a lot higher than what they actually are. Global population now is over 7 billion people and approaching 8 billion people. And I thought that population was already at 8 billion people and rising. So 7 billion approaching 8 billion, that's still a large enough number to be cautious about, because what we're doing as a species is we are overpopulating our globe. You know, the sheer number of human beings on this planet is placing a strain on the planet. Our resources, our energy, food, all that. If we're going to support that number of people on this planet without having some severe and catastrophic backlash, we are going to have to learn to do more with less. Cut back on our consumption. And this made me think about our energy consumption. I was looking at our energy bill, our electric bill more specifically, and wondering, what can I do to get this number down? What can I do to perhaps cut our electric bill in half? So I took that challenge. I challenged myself to do that. And I took just a few common sense steps to reduce our electric bill. Instead of having lights on all over the house, I would turn out lights where neither of us were at, and would just keep the lights going where I needed them. If I was reading in the living room, I'd turn off the lights in the kitchen, turn off the lights in the bedroom, and just keep one light on overhead in the living room. And another step I took was turning off TV, video, radio. My wife Heidi and I, we have fallen into the trap of wanting to have noise, background noise, going on wherever we are. We play the TV, we play the radio, and we're not really listening to the radio or watching TV. We're just listening to the background noise. And a lot of times, I'll have the TV going and be working at the computer. My wife will come in and say, "Oh, this is an interesting movie. What is it?" And I'll say, "I don't know. I'm not really watching it. I'm just having it on for noise." So I cut that out. No more playing the TV when you're not watching the TV, or the radio, or the music, when you're not really listening to it. Learn to appreciate the natural background noises of nature. Listen to what's going on around you without all this additional manufactured noise that we surround ourselves with. And then the third thing I did is I cut down our hot water heater. I figured that was probably contributing to our electric bill and our increased electrical usage, because I could hear the hot water heater. When you turn off the TV and turn off the radio, you'll be surprised at the number of other things you can hear. And for me, that was a hot water heater clicking on and heating up the hot water when nobody was actually using the hot water. So what I did is I went in there and turned it down from 140 to 120. And it's hot enough for doing dishes, works pretty good for washing your hands. I'm a little disappointed when I take a hot bath because the hot water isn't quite hot enough. But I figure if I plan ahead a little bit, nudge up the hot water heater 10 degrees about an hour before I take a bath, and then have my bath, and then nudge it back down 10 degrees after I've had my bath and dried off, we should be able to save electricity that way. And I looked at our electrical consumption just the other day, and I was shocked. We've already, with those 3 simple common sense moves, reduced our usage by about 50%. And I was shocked. I didn't realize that we were wasting that much electricity just with those, practices of leaving the TV set on all the time, leaving lights on where we don't really need them, and having the hot water heater, hotter than what we actually needed it. And now I'm going to experiment with, we have a big old freezer that is half full of food that we inherited, from my mom and dad. And, a lot of that food is probably about 2 or 3 years old. It needs to be pitched out anyway. Here we're spending good money and electricity to keep bad food fresh or try to keep bad food frozen. We're freezing our food before we throw it out. So I'm going to get in there next and pick out the good food, save that, find the bad food, throw that out, turn off that big old chest freezer, defrost it, and see what that does to further reduce our electrical consumption. But I'm sharing this just to let you know that, if you're concerned about saving on resources, conserving on energy needs, and maybe even saving 50% on your electrical bill, there are common sense things that we can do to save. Oh, and I left out air conditioning. I nudged that up. No more keeping the house down to 75 degrees or 74 degrees. I've learned to live with the house being at 78, 79 degrees. And that's a minor adjustment, but we can make it. And we save. We do have enough resources, I believe, to take care of the human population as is. And we might even be able to stand a little bit further growth. But in order to do this successfully, we have to eliminate our waste. We have to cut back. We can't be consuming more than what we actually need and then expect there to be enough to go around. I think Mahatma Gandhi once said, there is enough to satisfy everybody's needs, but not enough to satisfy everybody's greeds. So that's what we're working on. Cutting back on our greeds, cutting back on our excess usage of energy and resources, and seeing if that doesn't help things calm down a little bit. At the very least, I know it's going to help us on our budget. So this is Frater Ralph with Temple of the Universe signing off and wishing you a blessed day of discovery.